But we can change that. But as I get inspiration from Ancestor Middleton, let me just read you one of the most prophetic stanzas from the origins of things. This is what he said. Minute by minute, hour by hour, as you lose your history, you lose your power. So sharpen your eyes, tune your ear, so you know what you see and understand what you hear. Mr. Ashi, do you see why Africa seems to be powerless just by understanding this stanza?
Well, I do, to be honest with you. But I think it's not so much of being powerless. I think it's so much of being of not defending ourselves. Because right now, to be honest with you, I see and hear a lot of ignorance that is portrayed towards the African people, and the thing is, we don't do anything about it. It appears that the Western world does not know much, if not anything, about Africa itself as a continent. In fact, a lot of people think Africa is a country, which is incorrect, which proves my point. They don't know anything about the continent. I'll give you an example. A cousin of mine who has lived in Botswana all her life is actually visiting Canada for a few months. And the few months that she's been here, as we go out and just interacting with people, oftentimes conversation comes up and they ask her where you from and such, and she would always say I'm from Botswana, and she'll indicate how long she's been in the country. And the first thing that most people would usually respond or react to would be the question they would ask is, wow, you speak, well, it's not really a question, but they'll say, wow, you speak good English. And again, that tells me that this particular person responding this way knows nothing about the continent. Myself, I've had similar situations where I was talking to a young girl, told her, not young, but like around my age group per se. Told her where I was from, and the first thing that she said was she actually asked me if we have lions and tigers as pets, and I mean it's ridiculous, but I would have to excuse that because that tells me that this person again knows nothing about the continent. Now, I think what we need to do is we need to rectify this. We need to get rid of that world vision image of Africa that people have. We need to show the world what Africa looks like. If you think about the Caribbean, for example, you think about Africa, everything they have, we have. Our foods are similar. They're in a Caribbean or tropical part of the world's atmosphere, and so are we. They have their beaches, we have our beaches. So there's no reason why if someone from Canada or US is going on vacation, they should always go to Barbados and Jamaica. There's nothing wrong with that, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But what I'm saying is that they can also go to Ghana, they can also go to Ivory Coast, they can also go to Togo and so forth. But we over here have to do a better job of promoting this. We have to, whenever you go to Africa, we got to take as much pictures as possible, put it online, and so on and so forth, so that we give these people a visual look of what Africa looks like. Only once they understand what it looks like and who we are, that's when they would understand who we are, and then they can actually, I guess, understand us better, and that would give us a sense of pride and confidence to, tell people who we are and so forth. So I know it's a pretty long answer, but
No.
but that's my take on it.
Mr. Mensah,
Yeah, to add what Nikwe is saying, we have to empower ourselves. And when I say empowering ourselves, we have to reclaim black personality. What people like Kwame Nkrumah, Du Bois, and those big Pan-Africanists were saying in the days. It looks as if that concept is lost. And not everything that we do today is driven by financial gains. If you do something and there's no financial incentive, we don't want to do it. Nikwe mentioned earlier, or maybe actually you, that we have to learn and teach our history. But look as if it's not incentivized. You don't want to do it, you don't want to go it because you're not going to get paid for just studying your history. Look at me sitting right here. What I do and get paid for is what I did. Look at Nikwe, look at Brother Ayala. So we have to put some kind of value and pride in what we are, and then we can spread it and then teach others about the good things that we have left and the good things that our forefathers left for.
Pre-colonial Africans fought slavery in Africa, in Europe, and the Americas. The generation before me fought colonialism and imperialism. My generation fought against military dictatorship and also new colonialism, even though new colonialism is still in existence. Can I challenge your generation to do something about our educational curriculum on history? Mr. Minister.
Is that me?
Yeah, that is actually not a challenge, it's a necessity. We have to really redesign our educational system to add value to who we are, and then from there we can have the needed pride that we need to have to call ourselves to respect ourselves as people, and then we can interact with with other races at equal level. But if we just pick what we're given, like I mean, Nico said he doesn't agree with me, but I strongly believe our system has been hijacked, and we never try to reclaim it. And that's the mistake we're making. We have to go in, restructure what we think went wrong and are not serving our purpose, and teach our kids. I had a daughter, 11-year-old girl. She sees a statue from Egypt and doesn't know why I should have it. I'm like, Mommy, this African thing, that's what our forefathers were doing when they were alive, and we need to know these things. When I started explaining, I mean, to her at that level, she was kind of inspired, and she started develop interest because she didn't know what it was. So it's like most of us. Sometimes you see people call themselves educated people, but it's unfortunate. I would say we're not educated people. Not everybody that went to classroom is educated. So we need to re-educate people and let them know, have value that we lost, and the power that we lost, we have to reclaim it. What power are we talking about? The power of the knowledge that originated from us, and then we don't know it. So you go to classroom and somebody come in and say Pythagoras theory. You think Pythagoras was a Greek person, but he came to Egypt and studied in Egypt and got this from us. You go to Ghana and people are going to church on Sunday. Whatever they do in the church on Sunday originated from Africa. What Muslims do in their mosques on Fridays originated from Africa, but we don't know these things. So education is what we need, and not the type of education we have now. We have to go in and then try to let people know what we need done.
Nikwe.
I absolutely agree. Education is really the key to rectifying this, but I think we need to do this in a more settled manner. If you were to give someone a book that consists of 300, 400 pages to read, in this economy, in this society, how busy we are, most likely they'll never finish that book. So for me, I think the settled approach we should take is like we're doing now, creating a video, telling stories, and just create a 10-minute video or documentary of a story of some sort, and just blast it on social media. Right now, if you look at Facebook, for example, the age difference or the age range, I should say, is anywhere between 13 to 60. So we're not talking about reaching just the youth. We're talking about reaching everybody. And Facebook in itself is a great way to spread out information. So if we make a video, a 10-minute documentation about the Egyptian people, we put it up there, and we just let it fly. Once that is done, we inspire a couple of people here and there. Once they're inspired enough, they can actually then fly on their own, get a book, and read furthermore. But what we have to do is basically find a way to get them interested at first. Once we catch their interest, then from there I think they'll fly. The whole story thing, I think that would work because when I was younger, back home in Ghana, I remember, I believe every Sunday at 6 o'clock we used to watch the Kwekwananti, that TV show. I know it has nothing to do with history, but every episode um, had a pretty profound lesson, and you learn a little bit of something every time you watch that show. There's a moral to every story. So again, if we can create just simple stories and distribute it on Facebook and Twitter and whatever other social media apps there are out there, I think that is a new way to educate the children so that they're really not learning, they're not really trying that hard. We just basically putting the information in their face so that eventually they'll see it. That's basically all it is.
You know, Nikwe, Mr. Mason, when I said that I wanted to challenge you, this is what I meant. Say, for example, a group of people, Ghanaians, come together and petition the government for redress and say we want history taught, ancient African history taught. The example you gave about Pythagoras. If Africans knew that Pythagoras went to Africa to study and went back and returned to Greece to talk about his theorem, Africans, some Africans, or majority of Africans will be proud that they created this theory before Pythagoras stole it. What I'm saying is this: we cannot get everything going full speed 1 year. But if the objective is to create in the minds of the governors that this is necessary, wouldn't that help us?
Yeah, that will help, but what Nikwe is saying is very essential. The only way to get people following you is to let them get some kind of interest. And to be honest with you, the older generation that don't know their left from right are bad case. So I think we have a duty to be more focused on the younger ones through the social media. They like to play with them. And the only way to capture their attention is to put stuff on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and so forth and so forth. So Nikwe is really on point. If you get their interest, and then you go further up, because it had to be filtered from down up. If you don't get people interested, you just go and say, government, do this. You will not get people following you. You won't get their support. But you need the people on your side to be able to change things at the government level.